นะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะสาธุ Hello everyone. Hi. Today it's another session of a Dhamma session. As the topic state is the reflections on Visakha Puja Day or Vesak Day. Today is the Friday, May 24th, which is like 2 days after the Vesak Day. Vesak Day in Thailand is on May 22nd. I think there is something not right to the link that I have attached, so I'm gonna send to you again. I'm gonna provide you the links that we mentioned in this topic. Okay. Good afternoon from Ireland, Jim McCarty. Good afternoon. Thank you for your time and teaching. Today's very interesting topic because it's like during this time, it's the time of the Vesak Day or Visakha Puja. So today we're gonna delve into this topic and then let's reflect, what we can learn, what we can benefit from, this day. Reflections on Visakha Puja Day. The word Visakha Puja refers to a Buddhist ceremony commemorating the Buddha's birth, enlightenment, and passing away. Visakha Puja is an abbreviation derived from the Pali term Visakha Purnami Puja, sometimes written as Vesak, and it means the ceremony of the full moon day in the 6th month. So, as in the history, they say the Buddha was born in the full moon day in the 6th month, and then actually I think it's on Friday. There's some people to calculate. I'm not sure about this, but the full moon day in the 6th month, there's the birth, enlightenment, and the passing away day of the Buddha. Hello, Putang Namaskaran. Satu Anumotana. So today let's study the Buddha's biography, right? Because it's from the start to the end, right? In Visakha Puja or the Vesak Day, it's the day that the Buddha was born, got enlightenment, and then passed away. So actually, we can think of Visakha Puja or the Vesak Day as the day that we can learn the whole journey of the Blessed One. And then we can study and when we can look at the life of the Buddha and then you can, maybe should apply in your life. When the Buddha was born, he was born as the Prince Siddhartha. When Prince Siddhartha was born, he announced the Apisavaja. Apisavaja is the declaration of courage, stating, Ako hamasami lokassa, sheto hamasami lokassa, seto hamasami lokassa. I am the greatest in the world. I am supreme in the world. This is my last rebirth. Now there are no more future lives. This is from Middle Course, MN 123, Acharya Bhuta Dhamma Sutra, that I have attached the links for you so you can read. It is people say that this is the declaration of courage, like, okay, this is my last rebirth. Like for us all, we're gonna reborn again, right? Again and again, as long as the delusion or ignorance exists. But for the Buddha, that um, that time is the last rebirth. No more future life. This is like the declaration they say is what the Buddha announced when he was born. His birth reminds us that everyone begins life equally as a human being. This is very interesting point. Everyone begins life equally as a human being, even though the Blessed One, Bodhisattva, Prince Siddhartha, he was born as a human being. Why? Why human? Because humans have the potential to learn, train, and improve themselves to become better persons. When a man disciplines himself and progresses in righteousness and is equipped with perfect wisdom, then that man becomes an excellent one who is called a Buddha, awakened, or enlightened. According to this principle, Buddhism has made people aware of their capability. So now we realize that, okay, now we are born as a human being. So actually, we born with the capability. We are capable of doing great things. And also, Buddhism encourages people to improve their livelihood, behavior, moral standards, and wisdom. As Bhikkhu Utitila said, wrote, a Buddha attained Bodhi. Bodhi means wisdom, an ideal state of intellectual and ethical perfection that can be achieved by man through human means. So every Buddha, every blessed one have to be reborn in the last rebirth, has to be reborn as a human being. This is the standard for all Bodhisattva, for all Buddha. Before he got enlightenment, he had to be reborn as a human. Why? As the commentary state, or as the other master said, like when you are in heaven realm, in Brahma realm, you're gonna experience only happiness, good feeling, no more suffering. So you don't really see sickness, old age, or disappointment. When you are heaven realm or in Sukhati, good destination, you're gonna experience only good feelings. Or in if you are in the Tukkati, like the bad destination, you will be experienced only bad sensations, bad feelings. So it's hard for you to see both good and bad sides of life. You cannot see like the nature. But we as a human being, we are born to experience good and bad in life, right? You're gonna experience happiness, both happiness and sadness. Just maybe just a glimpse of the happiness, but you can angry, happy, sad, laugh, cry, and then giggle, something like that. You're gonna experience both sides of feelings. And also you can experience the stillness of mind. You can reach the immersion, the concentration through practice. So, you know, by learning this, now we can, look back to ourselves and then say, okay, now we're lucky to be born as a human being. Now I'm a human, so I'm capable of doing good things. Even just like the Buddha, he was born as a human being, so now I'm a human being, so I can do good things just like the Buddha. Or the noble disciples, right? And also, not only to be reborn as a human being is a good thing, but you have to have the knowledge, you have to have the wisdom as well. For the Prince Siddhartha, when he was born, there are many Brahma, many like hermit, to for like to tell, you know, like the fortune teller, something like that. Yeah, it's just like the teacher of the Brahma or something. And he said like, okay, this person can be, either the emperor or the Buddha, the blessed one. So the king and the queen tried to keep the Prince Siddhartha in the three palaces, in Winter Palace, Summer Palace, or Rain Palace, or something like that. But because there are the four sights on seeing which the Bodhisattva went forth in the Great Renunciation, because of these four sights or the four nimitta, then the Prince Siddhartha asked himself, have a chance, have something to contemplate, and then, question about his life. The four sights on seeing which the Bodhisattva went forth in the Great Renunciation, they are an old man, a sick man, a dead man. At first, for 3 days, the Bodhisattva saw, oh, there are people that are old, because normally when he lived in the palace, he only saw young and beautiful women, young and beautiful people. So when he went out of the palace and saw an old man, so he realized, oh, do I have to be like that person? Do I have to be old too? Or really, do I have to be old? Oh, now he realized the truth of life. Everyone, when they are born, they're gonna, when you're gonna go through the stage of aging, sickness, and eventually everyone gonna die. So the Buddha saw the four sights: old man, sick man, a dead man. And on the fourth day, he saw a holy man, a monk or a religious man. So at that time, the Prince Siddhartha thought like, maybe, yeah, holy man is the way for me to follow and can, get out of the suffering, because he didn't want to be old, too sick, and then eventually die. It's the nature of human life, right? And this is from the middle discourse, MN 26, Pasalasi Sut. The Buddha said, before my awakening, when I was still unawakened, but intent on awakening, I too, being liable to be reborn, sought what is also liable to be reborn, myself liable to grow old, fall sick, die, sorrow, and become corrupted. I sought what is also liable to these things. Then it occurred to me, why do I, being liable to be reborn, grow old, fall sick, sorrow, die, and become corrupted, seek things that have the same nature? Why don't I seek that which is free of rebirth, old age, sickness, death, sorrow, and corruption, the supreme sanctuary from the yoke, extinguishment? This is what the Buddha, realized that, yeah, everyone have to be, everyone are liable to be reborn, grow old, fall sick, die, sorrow. So why do I seek that thing that have the same nature? that is very interesting question that actually we should contemplate as well. Like, yeah, when I want something, I want new things, I want to be, beautiful, I want to be healthy, but yeah, it's good for you at this moment. But why do you have to keep searching for it? Why do you have to keep searching for the new items, the new material things, when even the material things gonna fall old and corrupt, right? You have to, it gonna broken one day, something like that. So this is what the Buddha contemplate and reflect. Sometime later, while still with pristine black hair, blessed with youth in the prime of life, though my mother and father wished otherwise, for the Prince Siddhartha to become the emperor. Weeping with tearful faces, I shaved off my hair and beard, dressed in ochre robes, and went forth from the lay life to homelessness. This is like the dedication and the intention of the Prince Siddhartha to become homelessness or to become the monk, to practice himself. Then that is from the birth, right? And now we're going to talk when the Buddha got enlightenment. So first, the Buddha was born as Kotama Prince Siddhartha, as a Bodhisattva. But the day that the Buddha got enlightenment, he was born again. You can think of it as he was born again or arise as Buddha. And then he passed away from being the old ordinary people, extinguished from all defilements. So here I would like to point out that there's arise and pass away. Yeah, you was born as Kotama Prince, so this is gonna be the last rebirth, right? And when the day that the Buddha got enlightenment, it can be considered as he was arise again, born again, no, born as the Buddha. And the old self, the notion of having self, the ordinary people was dead. And also the defilements was extinguished. After the Buddha's enlightenment, he uttered the verses beginning with Yatha Have, uh, which can be translated that whenever the Dhamma appears to an excellent person who makes effort and pays close attention, then all doubts vanish. By realizing the truth and all causes for the truth, by understanding the cessation of all conditions, Mara and his retinue is vanquished like the sun shining brightly in the sky. So after the Buddha got enlightenment, he uttered the word. Whenever the Dhamma, the truth, appear to an excellent person, why that person is considered excellent? Because he makes effort and pays close attention to, the Dhamma, the truth. If one person make effort, pay close attention and contemplate, yoniso manasikara, then all doubts vanish. When a person realizes the truth and all causes and understand the cessation of all conditions, there are the conditions that if there is the factor, if there is the cause, and gonna have the consequence factor, and it's just like in the origination or 12 links of dependent origination. If you can really understand the cause and the cessation of it. So all doubts vanish. Mara and his retinue is vanquished, just like the sun shining brightly in the sky. So here again, the Buddha used the word makes effort. Only the human being, only by human means that we have, you know, body and mind. We have, we breathe. We have all the equipment, material with us to practice, to make effort, to, you know, use ourselves, contemplate our body, as the foundation of mindfulness. If we practice, if we make an effort, if we pay close attention to natural natural things, like things that arise and pass away, arise and cease, if we pay close attention with the right wisdom, you as well can reach the nibbana. And then what, when the Buddha got enlightenment, what did he, you know, know and see? The Buddha know the Four Noble Truths and the 12 links of dependent origination. This is, something that we've learned a lot. But the Buddha, but it's very important that the Buddha even, you know, um, state that due to not understanding and not penetrating Four Noble Truths, both you and I have wandered and transmigrated for such a very long time. Because we don't know the truth, the Four Noble Truths. We don't understand, we don't penetrate, we don't really see, you know, this truth. So even the Buddha and us have wandered and transmigrated for such a very long time. But at that moment that the Buddha got enlightenment, he understand, he see, he penetrate, thoroughly understand the Four Noble Truths. So he become the Buddha. So what are they? There is suffering. There is the origination of suffering or the cause of suffering. There is the cessation of suffering, the end of suffering. And there is a path to the cessation of suffering. And also the Buddha mentioned the duty. We have the duty to, for the Four Noble Truths. Suffering is to be comprehended. Normally people think that suffering is to be abandoned, but it's not what the Buddha said. Suffering is not to be abandoned, because why? It's nature. It's natural. It's natural for us to be hungry. And when you're hungry, you have to eat, to make this body be able to function as it should be. So we have to eat, you're hungry. So we eat. When we eat, then we have to go to toilet. And then we have to drink. We have, suffering means that it cannot tolerate in that state for a long time. Suffering doesn't mean to have the painful feeling physically. It's not only that. Suffering or dukkha here is mean like unbearable or hard to bear, hard to endure. So when you stay outside, when it's very sunny, very hot, like you in Thailand, it's very hot outside, you feel like, oh, unbearable. I can't stand, standing outside, outdoors anymore. So I have to go inside. I have to, go to sit in the AC with the AC. But when you sit inside in the AC, at first you feel like, oh, I'm happy now. But if people say to you, like, okay, stay here, sit in this room forever, do not move, do not go outside anymore for the rest of your life, you cannot endure that, right? You cannot stay that long. Things gonna change, anicca. It has to change from suffer to happiness, suffering, happiness, suffering, happiness. The Buddha stated that even the happiness feeling, happy feeling that you think it is the good thing, it's considered suffering as well, because it cannot, you cannot, endure that for long. For example, when you watch a comedy show and oh, it's just so funny, you laugh, but and then people say like, okay, now it's funny, right? So you watch over and over and over, and then you have to laugh over and over. You cannot laugh like more than 5 minutes, something like that, because it's gonna hurt your stomach, right? So even the happy feeling is considered suffering, because it's hard to endure. So the suffering is to be comprehended that it's natural. It's like this. It's gonna change. Even though now you're heartbroken, you so, like you cry a lot all the time, but things gonna change. Feelings gonna change. People's mind gonna change. Your health gonna change. Things, everything is gonna change. So you have to really understand and comprehend it. Understand things as they really are. And the origination of suffering is what you to abandon it. You have to abandon the cause of suffering, the origination of suffering. Why do I suffer? Ah, the Buddha said, because of the desire, because of the greed. When you want the five sensual pleasure, when you want one thing, you say like, oh, when I get it, I'm so happy. When you want a new bag, when you get it, I'm so happy. And then if you notice yourself, it does not last long. You're gonna want more. I want another one. Oh, I want the newer one. Oh, I want a bigger one. Oh, I want, different one, something like that. So the cause of suffering is the desire in the five sensual pleasures, desire to become someone or something, desire to not become someone, something. For example, I want to be a doctor. If you know that, okay, if I study exam, um, like if I work, for that exam hard enough, then I gonna pass the exam. If you know that there's like the conditions, and then you just like, okay, if it is up to that, moment of the examination, right? You can do, what you can do is to prepare all the conditions for the exam, but don't have like the strong desire that I'm gonna pass that 100%. I'm gonna do that. That is the cause of suffering. That is the want or desire to become. What about desire to not become? Like, my mom want me to be a doctor, but I don't want to be a doctor. You said I don't want, but actually you want not to be a doctor. So that's the cause of suffering. If you really see through the origination of suffering and abandon it, Why? Just to know that things, you know, there are many, many factors that you cannot control. If you understand that there are many factors that you cannot control, it's outside of your, you know, control. And so what you can do is to provide the adequate conditions for it and let it be, let it flow, because many factors, whether other people's mind, luck maybe, and then many things. So try to understand, like, okay, the strong desire for that is not so good, it's gonna make me suffer, so I'm gonna do my best and let things be, something like that. And then the cessation of suffering is to be directly experienced. You know that there's the origination of suffering, and also there's the end and the cessation of suffering, which to be directly experienced, you have to reach the goal, reach the destination, reach the end of suffering. How? You have to walk the path leading to the end of suffering. Why? To develop the path. You have to, you know, walk the path, develop the path. What is it? The Noble Eightfold Path. So this is all the cause and effect, cause and result, right? There's the, and if you really understand the duty for you to do with the Four Noble Truths, and then you're gonna live like, um, things gonna be easier for you in your life. But the most important thing for me, for you all to, I want to point out for you that suffering is to be comprehended, not to be abandoned. If you try to abandon the suffering, if you try to abandon the hunger, if you try to abandon the sickness, you're gonna suffer more because it's nature. So if you're sick now, you have to find the cause and then cure the cause. Try to solve the problem, things like that. And then the Buddha said that such is ethics, such is concentration, such is wisdom. When concentration is imbued with ethics, it's very fruitful and beneficial. When wisdom is imbued with concentration, is inspired, from concentration, is very fruitful and beneficial. When the mind is imbued with wisdom, it is rightly free from defilements, namely the defilements of sensuality, desire to be reborn, and ignorance. So here, after the Buddha talked about when he got enlightenment, talk about the Four Noble Truths, what he learn and know, and then the duty of it. And then the Buddha mentioned ethics, concentration, and wisdom, or sila, samadhi, and panya. When samadhi or concentration has ethics as a foundation, in Thai translation, here they use the word um, concentration with ethics as a foundation is very fruitful and beneficial. When wisdom has the concentration as a foundation, it's very fruitful and beneficial. And when the mind has the wisdom as a foundation, it's really free from all defilements. So we can, rearrange the order here for you to, understand it more easily. First, when people talk, people are gonna talk, or even the Buddha said, Sila, Samadhi, Panya, right? Sila is ethics, concentration, and wisdom. But actually, ethics is the foundation of all wholesome qualities. When ethics is when you lay down a firm, a great foundation or sila precepts, moral conduct or ethics, and then gonna help you to reach the right immersion, right concentration. And when you reach the right concentration or right immersion, then you're gonna have the right wisdom. You're gonna see the right wisdom. Yeah, have the right wisdom because you see things as they really are. Because when the mind is stable, strong, and firm, has one pointedness of mind, you can see things as they arise and cease. And you're gonna have the wisdom. Oh, you cannot cling on to anything. Oh, now I see. Anicca, it's gonna change. Oh, not me, non-self. Oh, suffering because it cannot stay for a long time. Something like that. And after the, if you have wisdom as a base, a foundation, and try to develop the mind, train the mind over and over. You know, ethics, concentration, and wisdom is not just like, okay, step, you reach from the first step to the second. It's not like that. You have to do over and over and over. Ethics, concentration, wisdom, cleanse ethics, something like that. Do it over and over, train the mind like this. Eventually, the mind gonna be free from defilements. Or at first you can free defilements like from 100% to 90%. Do it over and over, 80% over and over. Defilements left only 50% or something like that. But you have to do over and over until you reach like, oh, now I really see what the Buddha talked about, right? So to conclude again, the Buddha was born as the Prince Siddhartha or Gautama Prince, right? As a Bodhisattva. And then when the moment that he got enlightenment, he arose as the Buddha, the Blessed One. When he arises as Buddha, the Blessed One, it means like the all ordinary self or the notion of self extinguish, pass away, extinguish from all defilements. And then now we're gonna talk when the Buddha passed away. So the extinguishment of the Buddha, the pass away from of the Buddha, it means the Dhamma and discipline arise as a new teacher. Why did I always mention about this? Because I want to, point out that arise and cease away. When the old self, the ordinary Bodhisattva self die, the Buddha arise. When the Buddha die, Dhamma and discipline arise as a new teacher. So now this is like the third topic about the Buddha's passing away. The fire nirvana or passing away, that the Pali we use the word parinibbana of the Buddha, is an encouragement for a heedful life. One aspect of Dhamma or the truth of nature is that everything is uncertain, mortal, and dependent upon causes and conditions. This truth, especially that all life must come to an end. If you learn about this, and then, oh, not only me that gonna die, other people gonna die as well. Even the Buddha, the greatest one, the blessed one, he was dead. So to learn about the Buddha's passing away is an encouragement for a heedful life. You're all gonna die. So as long, now that we can breathe, now we alive, we should make this breathing, this breath, we should make this life useful. The Buddha's last word is from DN 16. The Buddha addressed Venerable Ananta. Now, Ananta, some of you might think the teacher's dispensation has passed. Now we have no teacher. But you should not see it like this. The teaching and training that I have taught and pointed out for you shall be your teacher after my passing. Because people might think like, oh, now the Buddha, the actual Buddha passed away. Who gonna be my teacher? Who's gonna guide me through the monastic life, to the holy life? The Buddha said, you don't think that you have no teacher. The teaching, the Dhamma, the training, or the discipline that the Buddha have taught and pointed out for you all shall be your teacher after my passing. And also the Buddha's final words, Pachima Vacha, the Buddha said, Vayathamma Sankhara Appamatena Sampateta, which can be translated as, monks, all conditioned things are of a nature to decay. Strive to bring heedfulness to perfection. When we do the ceramic, right? We do the what's it called? The pottery. Yeah. In Lampang province, the place that I stay here, the place that I was born, Lampang province is very famous for the pottery, ceramic. And every time I got sick or every time I got injured, something like this, it reminds me of one of the sutra that the Buddha compare the life, human life, as a pot, the clay pot. The clay pot. When you have the clay pot, at first, when it was like newly made, it's new, right? It's like when you was born, everything gonna be like new, clean, look good, pleasant looking, something like that. But when you use that clay pot more and more, like over and over, you can observe that it decays, right? It has a nature to decay for the human being, through sickness, through aging, from black hair to gray hair, from strong, has a lot of energy gonna drop. In the past, you can run all day long, but now it's even hard. Don't talk about running. Even walk for a long time, it's gonna hurt your knee, your ankle, something like that. So it's just like in the state of decaying. And sometimes the clay pot got broken into pieces and you try to repair, right? It's just like when you broke the ankle, when you broke the leg, then the doctor tried to repair it, make it attached to each other again. It's just like the clay pot, that it's just like this body. When you in the final stage, maybe when you like gonna pass away from the sickness, because if you pass away from accident, gonna be like so sudden, right? But when you're gonna pass away from sickness, you can realize the truth of this body, that it's just like the old clay pot, that it's impossible to repair now. I don't want any invasive like treatment or things like that, because it's impossible to repair me repair this body. So it's just like eventually it's gonna break, cannot use. And then if there is still, you know, the delusion, avisha left, then you're gonna reborn again as a new clay pot. So fragile, something like that. So this is what I like to, contemplate my own body. Mm. All conditioned things are of a nature to decay. Strive to bring heedfulness to perfection. As long as you can breathe, you need to be heedful for life, and you should use this body to practice, to do good things. Not only practice, but to do good things to you, to your family, to your loved ones, to your society, to the world. Leave something good in this world, for example. And also, after that, when the Buddha became fully extinguished, Brahma Sahampati recited this word. Very interesting to learn as well. All creatures in this world must lay down this bag of bones. Yeah, this is the bag of bones. For even a teacher such as this, unrivaled in the world, the realized one, attained to power, the Buddha became fully extinguished. So even the Buddha became, eventually die. So you and I as well. Sakka, Lord of Gods, recite this word. All conditions are impermanent. Their nature is to rise and fall. Having arisen, they cease. Their stilling is true bliss. Nibbana is true bliss, is the supreme happiness. Why? Nibbana, no more arise, so no more cease. So yeah, this is all that we're gonna, from that we can learn from the Visakha Puja day or the Vesak day here in Thailand, from the lunar calendar in Thailand, because some parts like in America that some people celebrate another day, something like that. But in Thailand, the Vesak day is on May 22nd, and the cremation date is on May 30th. Normally, when we talk about Vesak day, we're gonna talk about, okay, this is the day that the Buddha's was born, got enlightened, and then passed away, right? But we don't talk about the day that the Buddha cremate, which is actually in the DN 16 Mahaparinibbana Sutta. So on May 30th is actually one of the important days as well. Some temples in Thailand got like another ceremony for this, cremation day. We call Atami Puja Day. It's the Buddha's cremation commemorative day. 8 days after Gautama Buddha's death, and also correspond to the 8th day of the waning moon of the 6th lunar month. This year falls on May 30th. Mhm. I'm not sure that you have heard about this or not, but I would like to mention, because in Thailand, not all temples celebrate this, the Atami Puja Day. Some, only some, that try to point out the Atami Puja Day. Okay. So, what we should reflect on Visakha Puja Day, that we should think about, the first, when the Buddha was born, he said like, yeah, this is my last rebirth. So we can learn that It's gonna start as a human being. The Buddha was born as a human being. So you as a human being, you will be capable of doing good things. You are capable to follow the path of the Buddha as well. Just like one the paragraph from MN26. After the Buddha became the monk, right? Anakharik, the homelessness. He tried to search for the teacher, the renowned teachers at that moment, Uttokadabot, and then uh, Brahmaputta, I think. I cannot remember the name. And then the Buddha, this is very interesting. The Buddha said, then it occurred to me when he found a teacher, it occurred to the Buddha that it's not just Rama Buddha. It's not just only that teacher who had faith, energy, mindfulness, immersion, and wisdom. I too have these things. Not only the Buddha, or not only the teacher, that great master that have the faith, energy, mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom. I too have this thing. Why don't I make an effort to realize the same teaching as Rama said he had realized with his own insight? I quickly realized that teaching with my own insight and live having achieved it. So this is what the Buddha used conceit to abandon conceit. This is stated is in many discourses that use conceit or mana to abandon conceit. You can do it, so I can do it as well. You have that good quality, so I should be able to achieve that as well. Yeah. So use the Buddha, the greatest teacher, as the role model. The Buddha, the whole journey, the life of the Blessed One, start as a human being. Even though the Buddha, like cultivate the merit, the wholesome qualities for a long, long time before us. Maybe, I don't know. But we too can achieve that if we make an effort, if we put our mind to it, make an effort, and then follow the path of the Buddhas. Use him as a role model. Use conceit to abandon conceit. We can achieve good things. We can achieve the good qualities. Start cultivate this moment. And also what we should reflect is that conditions fall apart. All conditioned things fall apart. Persist with diligence. Make an effort. Be diligent. Strive to, at least use this life to be useful. Make this life useful. So you can say like, okay, even though I don't reach the Nibbana this life, but I reached many good qualities. I did many good deeds to people. I'm happy with myself. I make people around me happy. I at least do something good. I at least, be able to be born as a human being, be able to listen to the words of the greatest teacher. So I now gonna follow, gonna listen more to the Dhamma, gonna practice more, and then gonna, abandon the unwholesome qualities more each day. This is what I would like to, discuss with you using the Visakha Puja day as a day for us to commemorate the Buddha's life, the whole journey, and use him as a role model. Okay, I hope you learn something inspiring. I wish to inspire you to, you know, think that, yeah, I can do it too. Yeah, that monk, he's very good. His manner, his teachings, his insight. Oh, he learned a lot. I can do it too. I can achieve that. Make an effort. Be diligent. Don't be careless. Be heedful for life because we're gonna die one day. But now we have to do good things. Okay? Any more question? For Visakha Puja Day in the Mahavana Tutanka, in the monastery that I stay now, we had like the activity, we discussed, the significance of Vesak Day. We have to, you know, yeah, reflect, discuss with the lay people that came to practice to stay in the monastery, and then we practice more in that particular day. Actually, we should practice more every day, but at that very, you know, special day, we practice more. And then, yeah, like for me, this is like fifth year, gonna be my sixth year of my ordination. This year gonna be my sixth year. But the more I, listen to the life of the Buddha, the more I, in the past, before I ordain, I don't really care about like Vesak Day. I have to go to, you know, to the temple to pray and then to, candlelight procession, something like that. And you have to walk around the stupa, something like that. It's like the tradition that we have to do, but that's it. I don't really care about like, oh, what is the significance of that day. But once I ordained and I learned more about it, oh, from the first day, I have this, I have like limited knowledge. The second year, the first year, limited knowledge. The second year, oh, we learn more. Third year, oh, we have like the new reflection. Fourth year, oh, I learned something new. Fifth year, oh, I think this is good. So the more you listen, the more wisdom, the more reflections, the more contemplation you can gain. So don't just like, oh, this is something that I have learned before. No, listen over and over. You understand more each time. You will learn something new. Okay. Any question, Jim? Any question, Maria? If there is no question, then I'm gonna end this Dhamma session. And I'm not sure about next week that I can do for the Buddhist insight or not, because on Thursday gonna be May 30th that I have to attend the Atami Puja, the cremation ceremony in another temple nearby. So I'm not sure about that. I might do the recorded live or I might skip the Dhamma. Let's see next week in Buddhist Insight channel. Hello, John. John said, "Thank you for the lecture. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming to listen to the Dhamma session, to listen for the reflection. I hope you get something beneficial, and be inspired to do good deeds, to follow the Buddha. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you, everyone. Before we part, say Sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, 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 Anumodhami. May you all be safe, be well, and be joyful in learning and following the Dhamma and discipline, the teaching and training of the Buddha, that the Buddha said. Teaching and training is the new teacher after the Buddha's passing away. And may we all reach the Nibbana, extinguish all defilements eventually. Nibbana Paccaya Hotu. Sadhu.